Hi everyone, welcome back to my craft room. I'm Liz. I am Stitcher Baker here on YouTube and Instagram. Um, I have been not here since about October to update you on what I'm doing, but I plan on giving you all my finishes today and going through my whip parade. I wanted to do this at the beginning of the year, and then I got a upper respiratory infection, kind of sinus infection thing. So I was down for the count for a week or two and getting all that kind of cleared out. I still have kind of a dry voice from it, so hopefully this will go well. Should have brought in a water or something. Anyway, I wanted to go through all my finishes. I have some holy finishes that I'm going to go through, and then I have some just um, regular finishes, and then I have my whips. So my first finish is Stitchy Bug from Boomerang Stitches. I did this in my own color choices with just DMC that I had on hand. I love navy blue and lime green together, so that's what color I did the bug, and I gave him red eyes and a red and yellow. I just picked out primary colors, and I really like the way it turned out. These patterns, I got this pattern at StitchCon last summer, and our table decided we would do the European Beekeeper instead. So I bought that pattern to do. I don't know how everyone else is coming along that I was sitting with at that table, but I have not started on that and hope to do that here pretty soon. I've got it kitted up. I'm just ready to go. My next finish was a Charlie Harper finish. I got this pattern on eBay. It's like something corn in the name of it. It came in a booklet of 3 Charlie Harper patterns. The guy that sells this on eBay, these Charlie Harper patterns, has the exclusive rights to, he bought up all the rights to the cross stitch patterns. So now he's printing them and selling them. I don't know if he's selling PDFs. I know I got the paper pattern from him. So, and I bought like 3 more different Charlie Harper patterns that I would love to stitch because I love Charlie Harper artwork. And I think that's what I like about Boomerang Stitches artwork, because hers is very similar, or not. The aesthetic is kind of the same as Charlie Harper's. Totally different artwork, obviously. But very, very much reminiscent of Charlie Harper. My next fully finish, where is it? I just laid it down here. Oh, I don't know where I put it now. Oh, here it is. Is a Rebel Designs. May you arrive in heaven an hour before the devil knows you're dead, which I think is pretty funny. And I have done this with the called for threads from the pattern, but I also did it on an Ada, printed Ada, DMC Ada, I think, that comes in the tubes at Michael's in the different colors. And this one was kind of a variegated purple, blue, and pink, and I just like the way it looks on the fabric. So I don't do a lot of Halloween. I don't decorate for Halloween. I do put a wreath on my door for just about every occasion, but um, I do more fall decorating, so you will see more fall things when you come in my house, because I feel like once I put it up in September, I don't want to take it down until I put my Christmas up. So I have several finishes. One is a bell pull that I did or started back in like the 80s. And I started going through some of my older stuff, and I found a few whips. And I thought, I either have to do something with these, either finish them or do something with them or just get rid of them. The bell pull fabric on this had some rust spots on it. And where it appeared on the fabric on the linen, I couldn't finish the bell pull design because it wouldn't have covered the rust spots. I don't know how the rust spots got there. I didn't leave a needle in the bell pull, so I'm just not sure. Um, but I didn't try to get them out, and because the patterns that I had shoved in the bag with it, and it was a plastic bag, the patterns had stuck together, and that's when they used real photographs, like just real photographs, instead of printed patterns. And the patterns were hand drawn, and so they had stuck together, and I tried to pull them apart carefully. But I do remember when I did um, this one stitch that I have finished on this part of the bell pull. It was going to be 4 seasonal snowmans. And I've since thrown the patterns away because they were stuck together, and when I pulled them apart, they were just kind of pulling the printed part of the handwritten pattern apart, and they were tearing and sticking and tearing parts of the pattern away, and I just didn't want to fool with it. So I pitched all of those patterns, and I cut the bell pull because my one snowman I had done, which I had started with the summer one, I had turned him into a Cincinnati red snowman. So I have now, he was always finished, and I had started on a second snowman, which I did not, I threw it away with the rest of the bell pull fabric. I remember not really liking stitching on this linen. So anyway, I have cut him away, and I am going to back it with this fabric, and I am going to turn him into a Cincinnati Reds Christmas ornament for my nephew who loves the Cincinnati Reds. Oh, I have one more fully finished, and this is a red, white, and spools little pillow that I did, and it's Lady Dot creates Chanel around the edge of it. Um, and the backing fabric looks like this. And I think the backing fabric actually came from Primrose Cottage in a kit that I bought back last summer. And this is a Primrose Cottage pattern, which I loved because of the spools. And I did a couple of more of those patterns. This was a Quaker round pattern that I did. I did them all in the same color threads. I'm going to make these all into smalls for a little dough bowl. Established 1776 USA. Those were Primrose Cottage patterns, and there is a longer one. This one. God Bless America. So all these will be made into small pillows with different kind of rickracs and things around them. And I've got one more that is not a Primrose pattern. I think it might have been Bent Creek. Not positive. I'd have to pull the pattern out and find it. But I did this. And this was part of another bigger pattern, but I just pulled out the the wand with the stars on it and changed it and changed the border around it. I changed a lot about this pattern. It just made that into a small to kind of separate it up. And I'm going to do that. So I had 5 of the little pillows for a dough bowl. The next pattern I finished was my October birthday start, which I may have shown this to you back when I did my last Flosstube. I don't know if I did it in November or October, but I finished this in October. This is Babushka's Garden by Plum Street Sampler. I started this on October 1st. I finished it on October 31st. My goal was to get it done by Halloween, and I did. So by the end of the month. So anyway, I finished it Halloween night while I was waiting on the trick-or-treaters, and the only thing I had left was filling in the pumpkin, which I did. I love that little pattern. And I think I'm going to make that into a pillow, a bigger pillow. I don't think I'm going to frame that. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. So that's why it's still sitting there. The next 3 finishes I've done in the last... Oh, wait a minute. yeah, since January 1st, I've finished these other four. Um, One was started in March, and that was the Mystery Sampler by Fox and Rabbit last year, called Cloister Garden. And this is done on a 14 count Ada. And this is done. This was a lot of stitching. The the threads I used were a variegated thread by uh, Thread Gatherer Silken Colors, called Warlock Road, and it's a variegated blue, green, kind of purple, and dark gray. And I just thought that they were so pretty. So anyway, this is going to be a biggie framed piece when I get it to the framers. I like to take things to the framers when I've got more than one thing to frame, because she gives me a little bit of a discount when I take up two or three things at a time. This next one I did for my sister-in-law, and I haven't decided if I'm going to frame this or turn it into a pillow for her, or maybe even a tote bag if I can find somebody that'll be willing to turn this into a tote bag for her. But my sister-in-law always hosts Thanksgiving, so I always try to take her something um, for hosting. And so I did this pattern, which I bought off Etsy. It's a Shannon Christine design called Thankful. I changed the colors up a little bit. She used white, and I did not like how the white looked with this brown fabric, because this is not a true brown. This is more like a mocha brown. It's got like sort of a pinkish cast to it. So it doesn't have a warm tone. It has a cool tone. So I used 712, which is like a cream colored DMC, instead of white. Um, in the pattern cover, she uses white, and it looks like it's on a warmer brown, to me. But to me, when I started putting down the white, I didn't like it. The rest of the colors I think are called for. I wish I'd changed the tractor cover colors, because we had a John Deere growing up, and I wish I'd used more of a John Deere green on it. Um, but otherwise, I thought that turned out really cute. I finished this up last week. I only had some of the background to do. I've come a long way since I showed this to you last. Um, this block, none of this was done. So I've been stitching a lot. Hasn't been a lot going on. In December, I was pretty busy. I went back to work part time for a prior boss of mine who was very shorthanded. And so he called me and said, "Hey, I'm looking for somebody, but can you come help me until I find someone?" So I did. And he's just a good guy, and we always got along really well and had a great working relationship. So I went back and worked. He and his wife have their own law firm now. So I went back and helped them out for about a month. They found somebody. So this next one is Immortal. This was my New Year's Day start this year, but it's a fairly simple pattern, stitched up super quick. I think I got it stitched in like 4 or 5 days of stitching, and then I ran out of this purple color, which is called Lavender Potpourri, which is called for in the pattern by Gentle Arts. This is the pattern. And if you do this pattern, you need two skeins. If you do DMC, you'll be fine. But if you use Gentle Arts, because there's only 5 yards, I think, on Gentle Arts, you need two skeins. And I ran out because I only bought one. And I went back and I was able to match it pretty well. It's a little bit lighter here at the end, but I think it blends pretty well. I think I only did the last 4 letters in that in that second skein I had to pick up. And I bought the darkest skein they had. I had, funny enough, I had another skein of lavender peppery in the house, but it was a skein I bought probably back in the 90s. And when hand-dyed threads were first coming out, and it was nothing like this color. Hey, Bubby, come here. You want to say hi? No. Anyhow, it was more of a hyacinth purple, that really blue purple. So I was really surprised. I mean, it was totally different. There was no way I could have used it. So anyway, I called up to Keepsakes, my local needlework shop up in Cincinnati, and said, "Hey, do you have some of this?" And she goes, "Yeah, we've got like 10 skeins of it, but it's all different colors. I think you'll have to bring it up and we'll try to match it." So I did. I took my piece up there, hopped in the car, went up there, and we were able to match it pretty well. I was really the Jan, the girl there. Well, they were all there. Barbara was there, Jan was there, and even the couple other ladies that I'm not sure if they worked there or not. But anyway, they were very helpful in getting me matched up, and appreciate that. And I was able to buy some more stuff, which, of course, fine cross stitch like I'm immortal, so that worked out just fine. My last finish that I have used since October is this pillow cover that I bought 2 of these pillow covers back in the 80s, probably, and they're pre-made, so you kind of had to stitch from the inside. I was able to get my little smaller hoop in there. So this is Kindred Friends, which I can't think of who the pattern was. But anyway, this was the freebie pattern that they gave out at StitchCon last year. And around the edge, they had given you this border as a border, and it said "this way to StitchCon." And I didn't want to put that on a pillow I was going to have out all the time, just because I just didn't want to. But I did want to put the border on. So I did put the needle and thread border around just to make it a little bit bigger on the insert of the pillow. It's got insert with Ada. Let's see that different fabric. So anyway, that's what I did. And I bought the thread pack at StitchCon that matched. And because this is not the called for fabric, the white house wasn't the white wasn't showing up very well at all, so I had to outline the things that had the house or the white thread, which was fine. It looks fine to me. I thought that turned out super cute. I have another one of these pillow covers, but I don't know what I want to do with it yet. If I can find another pattern that's kind of sort of similar, I might do something with it and put them both on my couch. There was one other thing I finished. That was the thankful one. This was a pattern that I started for probably one of my nieces or nephews, and they're in their 30s now. And it was a kit. And it's not called anything. It's just called Judy and Co. And it was the Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep. And this is where I told you they used real photographs. Like this peels off, and this is just a picture. Well, this picture is super faded, and these are none of the colors. The colors were super bright. I wasn't in love with the colors, but I had, when I pulled this out of my stash, I had the whole verse stitched, and I had part of the bear's head stitched. And I thought, well, I don't have that much more to go on this. So I'm going to go ahead and finish it up. This band on the bear's hat in the picture is green or brown, but it was lime green in the pattern. And it was a hand, I'll just show you a little bit of the pattern, but it was a hand-drawn, another one of those hand-drawn patterns like they had back in the whatevers. This pattern doesn't have a date on it, so I don't know. But I pulled out a light blue there and I switched out some of the colors, and I opted not to do the border, which has gold stars all the way around, because every one of those gold stars was done with Chronic. Not a fan of working with Chronic. So I have a big glob of it left because I did not do all those. It was all part of the kit. I didn't do all those, but I did put one Chronic star on the pattern, and I decided I would just probably mat this if I did it for someone. And I may. Once it was done, I had to outline the bear more than the pattern said. The bear, it did not have hardly any outlining on it, but I outlined the quilt. I did outline the bear and his hat and the quilt around it. This is kind of, I didn't press this, but this is my finish. And I did the one Chronic star there just to make it, since he's sitting on the moon. And I thought he turned out pretty good once I got done kind of fiddling and farting with it. I probably will frame this up at some point um, with maybe just a white frame. I don't know. There's no babies right now expected in our family, but we might have one in the next 2 or 3 years. Might have more than one in the next 2 or 3 years. I don't know. I think we've got 2 weddings left that will happen. Dates are not set yet. So anyway, those were all of my finishes. And like I said, I'm pulling out old stuff to try to finish it. And I've got most all of it that I had started finished. And then I had, hundreds of patterns that I never started. And I've bought hundreds more since. I just started stitching again. For those of you who might be new to me, I just started stitching again last March after about a 15-year hiatus. I've got one other couple other really old patterns that I have on my whips. And my goal is to keep my whips down to around 20. When I started the year, I had, let me look up my list. I had 18 regular whips, and I had 6 Christmas whips. And I've finished 5 of those 18. So I'm down to 13 and then 6. So I'm down to 19. I wanted to keep it under 20. So now I can start one provided, and then I can actually start 2 more without finishing anymore. But my goal is to keep them down to around 20 so I can keep making progress on these things and feel like I'm going somewhere with them. I don't think I can handle having like 80 or 100 whips, or some people have 200 or 300. I wouldn't even know where to begin. That would overwhelm me. I think my brain would be, well, what about this one? Oh, I remember this one. And, so anyway, I have 2 projects in the, I actually have about 20 projects kitted up. So, but 2 that I really want to start soon. So now I'm going to start my whip parade. All that introduction, 25 minutes worth of introduction. I'm going to start my whip parade for 2025. Like I said, I'm down to 13 regular and 5 Christmas or 6 Christmas, so it shouldn't take me very long at all. So my first one is a Christmas one I'll show you, and it is Winter White Santa by Mirabilia. And I know you've all seen this whip for this pattern. Another one with a photograph. I don't have a very good start. This came up on my whip go for this month for both numbers because I started a Christmas whip co and a regular whip co. So I would get a lot of work in on my patterns. And so some of them appear more than once. And this Winter White Santa appeared twice on my WIPGO for numbers 2 and number 7. And on my WIPGO, my goal is to stitch on that piece for 5 hours. Since I don't keep track of the amount of stitches that I do, because I do mostly off paper patterns. My goal is to do 5 hours worth of stitching because I feel like that gives me one good evening. If I do more, I do more. And my goal is on the 25th of every month to do Christmas stitching. So I've already done 5 of my 10 hours on this Santa. But when I started, I only had a little bit of this part here. And so my last 5 hours, I got a good little start. These holes here that you see of the fabric, those will be done with Krynic, which I will do last, I think. The Krynic and all the beading. So I've got 5 more hours that I'm going to work on him tomorrow, which should be pretty easy because we're getting this snowstorm. And I'm going to be... We were supposed to go to the Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra tomorrow and do a Dolly Parton show. I'm pretty certain that'll be called off. I hope so I can get my money back on my tickets. But even if it's not, I doubt we'll drive to Cincinnati in 10 inches of snow. It's not that far away, but it is, you know, one traffic span. My next WIP is one of my old WIPs, Birds of a Feather, Poor Jack. Another one with a photograph on it, but that's Jack. Super cute. I just thought it was cute. So, this was another linen I did not like working on. It's very, very stiff, and I have him on my WIPGO board, and I will force myself into working on him. I don't like to start things over. If I put this down and say I'm going to start over, I never will. So I'm just going to finish what I've got. Suck it up, I think. Anyway, this is what I've got done with Jack. So hopefully when I start stitching on this, I won't hate it as much as I thought I was going to hate it, which I think I'm going to hate it. Just don't like that fabric. It's really super fine linen. It's probably a 40 count. I have a hard time on those small fabrics anymore. My next really old WIP is my niece's stocking I'm doing for my grandniece called Harry's Santa and Snowman Stocking by Vicki Howard, Dimensions Kit. She loves animals, so I started this for her. I started this for her when she was born, June 1st, so I could have it done by that Christmas. And she is 10 years old now. She'll be 11 June 1st. I'm hoping I can work on this more and make this more of a priority stitch. But the last time I worked on it, I got the cat in. So Santa's body is pretty much done, and the cat and the present down at the bottom is done. So there's a lot of back stitching around that that's not done. Some of it's done, actually, now that I'm looking at it. So there's a lot of, like, his beard is just stitching, and it's not filled in, and the cat's not filled in. It's just, like, stitched around to make the cat. So the snowman has a big green jacket that's pretty much solid stitching up here, except for the beard. So there's a lot of stitching left on this. I don't know. Maybe by Christmas. I don't think I can get it done by June 1st. I'd have to really make this a priority and work on it a lot. My next one is Coven on the Beach. This is a pattern by Primitive Hair. This I just bought this last fall to make this one of my fall stitches. I'm doing the as called for printed fabric or dyed fabric, which I bought from wherever I bought this from. So anyway, I started this and I've got a little bit of the first shack done. Not a very big start on this. I think it's a super cute pattern. Again, like I said, I don't do a lot of Halloween, but for whatever reason, I was super drawn to this one. I guess because I love the beach. And witches at the beach appealed to me. So, that's all. My threads are all caught in the zipper there. There we go. This next one will be done. When it comes up for WIPGO, this will finish it. If not before, I may just finish it and then pick at something else for WIPGO. This is Silver Creek Samplers, my Christmas list. I've seen a ton of people working on this. The last time you saw this, I was maybe about halfway through, and I am now almost all the way through it. The only thing I have to add is the baby Jesus stuff down at the bottom. I've got baby Jesus in there. I just have to get all the wording in there. One good evening, and I'll have this finished. And I haven't decided how I'm going to finish this. I've seen it framed. I've seen it made into a bell pull type thing situation. I don't know. Don't know yet. Really like that pattern. I like a lot of their patterns. They're super simple. They seem to work up super quick. This next one is actually 6 patterns made into, I'm considering it one project because I want to do all 6 of them. I'll put these in order. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. This is the Snow Globe series by Tiny Modernist, who I also love their patterns. This one I have done. This was part 1. So I have him done. I'd like to make these into a bunch of smalls for my dough bowl. Part 2 is this bear. This didn't take very long to stitch up. Each pattern is about, on 14 count, it's like 5 by 5. So they didn't take long to stitch up. I just haven't done it. They came with each one came with the fabric. And at the beginning with part 1, you got all the threads. It was through Crazy Annie's, I think. Anyway, they sent them to you once a month, and I didn't keep up. This was part 3. It's part 4. Part 5. And part 6. I love this owl. He's going to be a hoot to do. No pun intended. Pun intended. So those will get done, hopefully, this year. One of my goals. Again, I want to try to get some of these smaller ones out of the way so I can really focus on the big ones. But I always like big projects. I think it's because I feel like you get something really accomplished when you do. This next kit, I call it a kit. It's not. It's, again, 3 separate patterns. But it's Go Tell It on the Mountain. Seen a ton of people doing these. Over the hills and everywhere. That Jesus Christ is born. They are by the Proper Stitcher. It's one of my favorite Christmas songs. So I have this much done on Go Tell It on the Mountain. And this the white is really ghosting out. You can see it in person. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do about that. I don't know what fabric I'm doing this on. I'm doing this on 28 count linen, hand dyed, manufacturer unknown. So I really like the fabric, and I think in person you can see the snowflakes, so I'm just going to keep going with it. They don't really show up on camera very well, but I can have this first one done, and then I'm just going to cut them apart. All three will fit on this piece of fabric. So I consider this one piece instead of three separate ones. That's how I make my little ones into big ones. This next piece is another very, very old one called Snowy Friend. It was a Lori Birmingham design, and it was a musical basket. And it shows you how to do the basket and everything. But anyway, here is the design. I do not have the basket. I have all the little stars to put on it and the bells, but I don't know what happened to the basket. I had the basket at one point, and I don't think there's a date on this fabric. Yeah, because the kit contains the Nantucket style basket, musical button. The musical button does not work anymore. I have that. The floss ribbon, gold-plated charms, jingle bells, clay nose, blending filament, needle, and instructions. I have all that, but I don't have the basket. I do not know what happened to it. But anyway, I've been working on him, and I've got him almost done, and I've just decided I will add all the clay nose and the everything to him, since I've got everything else, and the music doesn't work anyway. Oh, wait a minute. I don't know if you can hear that. It's playing Rudolph. Or Frosty the Snowman. So anyway, maybe I can make it into a musical ornament and they can press his belly or something. I think this thing's going to play for the next 20 minutes now. So my next whip is Lacrosse Pumpkin. It's a French pattern by Nemu. And it is Cinderella's pumpkin before it turns into a coach. It's got the mice pulling it. I started on this last fall. I am doing this on 32 count natural linen. And I've got a lot of the beginning, or good beginning of the center of the pumpkin done. And then I got tired of stitching different shades of orange, which there are 1,000 of. But I am going to get busy on this. I bought this pattern off eBay. The first pattern I had holes punched in it. And but when I got that and I got the pattern, the holes were through the pattern itself. So I emailed the guy, I said, do you have another one? He said no. But he gave me a $20 refund on the pattern. I think I paid about $60 for the kit. But I found somebody else that had just the pattern that was willing to sell me the pattern for $20. So I got the kit for the $60. So that worked out for me. But be careful when you're buying on eBay. My next whip is Fox and Rabbit 2026. And this is their new mystery sampler. I've started on this. I'm not liking the way it's looking. I was doing 2 over 2 threads on 28 count Lugana, And I do like the way it looks in the camera, actually, but I don't like the way it's stitching up. To me, it looks really bulky. And so, and I think I picked my three colors I picked were 822, 503, and 779. And I'm doing this on a Atomic Ranch Fabric Pumpkin King 28 count Lugana. So I like the way it looks. I like the color, but I think on the other end, I'm just going to do a little test of the pattern and see if I want to keep going with 2 threads or cut it down to 1. The fabric, when they dyed it, I love Atomic Ranch fabric and the way it feels. But the fabric is really tight. And to me, it's turning out bumpy, and I don't like the way my stitches are looking. And I don't know if it's the thread on this particular fabric, or if I just do 1 thread instead of 2, it'll work out better. I don't know. We'll figure it out. This next one is a finish I just finished today, actually, and I forgot. I had stuck it back down in my whip basket. It's called Faithful Friends, or Friend, Faithful Friend, by Sweet Wing Studio. And I have a good friend who's just bought a condo, and she closes here pretty soon, and I'm going to have this framed as a housewarming gift for her. Anyway, this is done on 28 count Springfield Sage Lugana. And this is how it turned out. And I just think it's so sweet. And it was a super easy stitch. I stitched on this. I could go back on my January calendar and look. Probably stitched on this 5 or 6 evenings to get it done total. Stitched up super fast. I just wanted something that I could give her that would be super sweet and super fast, but something I could get done for her before or when she closes, it'll be done. I'll get that up to the framers next week. This next pattern I'm doing is the Turtle Quaker by Al Forest Embroidery. Doing this for my grandniece. She loves turtles, sea turtles. So, and I'm doing it with their called for threads, which are beautiful variegated threads. And the last time I showed you this, these threads are a mess. I had the top border done and maybe 1 or 2 of the turtles, and so now I've started coming down the side. Sorry, I have a hanging thread down there. But this is coming along. This is another one I'd like to have done for her soon. I'm hiding her name inside the middle of the turtles in the pattern, so I'm kind of changing that up. See if she notices that. I don't know if she will or not. Probably not. She knows I'm making it. I showed it to her. I'm trying to get her interested, and she crochets. She does a ton of other crafts, and she crochets, but I can't get her interested in cross stitch just yet. I'm hoping. Hey, you want to learn how to cross stitch yet? She says, nah, it's too involved. And I'm like, no, it's not really. It's just following a pattern. But my next one is a small. I don't do a whole lot of smalls, but I just thought this one was too cute. And when I was little, strawberry milk was my favorite thing to drink. That Strawberry Quick. So anyway, this is called Strawberry Milk. Now you've probably seen the pattern. Tiny little start. Part of the heart on the cow's back. That's it. I need to work on this. It's on my whip parade. It's on my whip go board. I just figured that one was one I could pick up and take. That one's done on a pink Ada, 14 count, I think. Might be 16. Um, I don't normally stitch on anything smaller than a 16 or a 32 at this point. I can do 36. 40 is out of the question for me at this point. This next one, we're getting there. This next one is called Flowers and Birthstones, and it was a Patreon pattern from Tiny Modernist that is to my knowledge. I think it's coming out in March at the market. Anyway, this is the pattern. I worked on this last week to finish up the border, which I got done. And now I only have October. I have this bottom row of flowers. I was keeping up with this. I started this last March and with the goal of having it done by December and doing one a month. And I worked on it a lot in March to get it caught up. But that didn't happen. So I started so many other things. But anyway, this is a beautiful pattern. These are beautiful. Ton of back stitching, but that's what brings out these birthstones and flowers. There is not one circle on here of flowers that doesn't have a mistake in it. I'm telling you, I screwed up somewhere in my counts on all of these. Now I fudged them and they're fine. I wouldn't even be able to tell you where they're at. I'd have to go back and really look at the pattern to show you where they're at. But I can get, on a good long stitching night, I can get one of these done. So I think I can get it done in another 3 sessions. Maybe even doubling it, maybe 6, doing the back stitch in one session and all the stitching in another. But this is one that will get done this year for sure. In fact, I'd like to have it done by market in March, but that may happen. May happen. A lot of winter here and nothing much to do outside. I'm just doing that on an antique white Joblin. 32 count. This next one is another Boomerang Stitches, Freak the Beak. And I've come along on this one since the last time you saw it. Super cute. Super cute pattern by Boomerang Stitches. I love this pattern. So cute. So cute. I am doing this on a 28 count Atomic Ranch Lugana in Lavender Haze, which you probably won't see on the camera, but it's got the very faintest of lavender to it. And this is what I've got done. Now I'm off on my counts on this too, but it won't matter because here and there, the birds are separate. So I can either make their leg a stitch or two longer or shorter or wider or whatever to get it back on track. I think I've added all of this since the last time you saw it. Maybe some down at the bottom. I've got almost a page completely done. On this, there are 4 complete pages, and I've got almost page 1 done and a little bit of page 2 and 3. So I've got probably the equivalent of 1 page done out of the 4. I'm about a quarter of the way. This I work on. I did a color conversion on this one with overdyes, thinking that would make the birds a little more variegated, but the fabric, I wish I hadn't. I wish I just stuck with the called for, because I picked out colors that were super close to the DMC colors that Amity design, and I don't think you can tell that much of a difference, frankly. Maybe if I see it right next to another one, I might be able to. I don't know. Just a few left. I think we're down to 4 here. This next one is called We Do Geek. I bought this off Etsy by CRA to 2Y Stitch, I guess, by Lucy Smith. Anyway, this is a geek thing. My husband loves geeky stuff. Self-described geek. This pattern has 6 pages, 8 pages, 8 pages, 8.5 pages. And I'm on pages 3 and 4 because I'm going across. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And I am doing this on a fabric I bought from Etsy. I thought I had it written down on one of these pages. I think I searched for galactic fabric or something. Yeah, galactic. On Etsy, and I found somebody selling it in a 28 count even weave, and I bought it from dovestitch.com. Dovestitch.com is the name of the shop. Not .com like the period with the com. Dot is spelled out. But anyway, here's the galactic fabric. It's got a little bit of a shimmer to it. So I'm making a lot of headway on this. My husband's keeping tabs on me. Hey, have you worked on mine? So I really love the fabric. It's got, like I said, every here and there's a sparkle. So I don't know if it was like a spray sparkle she put on the fabric after it was dyed, because it's completely white on the back. So I don't know how I guess they screen print this on or something, but super fun. And it goes fast because it's just a lot of the writing and a lot of the letters, and some of the letters are super skinny and some are thicker, but I'm up to this little man here, and then boldly going. I've got to do that. Go boldly going where we haven't done before. And when I get that done, I'll be half done. So I'm getting there. Another one that I hope to have done by the end of the year. I hope as I finish these, I can start more. And I can do a kit for it if you all are interested, because I've got like 20 kits ready. I'll show you the two then my next two, though, at the end. This next one is from the book Let Love, Let Rain by Teresa Kogut. And here's a picture of the book. But I am doing this one called Love Your Family. And it says, if you want to change the world, go home and love your family, which is a quote by Mother Teresa. And in this established 1997, I'm going to put 2013, which is when my husband and I got married. So this is where I'm at. There's a lot of fill-in on the hill part. So I've started on the fill-in because I want to kind of try to keep up with the fill-in. Once you get that hill filled in, I think I can get it done in a couple weeks. But that hill fill-in, I'm saving for whenever I go to places where I don't need to count. House is done except for a little bit on the roof. I love the colors in this. They're just really sweet. Love this pattern because it had a dog, and I love dogs. So this is where I'm at on this one. I pick this up every once in a while. I like it to work on it. Especially since when I get that rest of that wording done in that hill, I can do everything except the Mother Teresa part, which I can do as soon as I get the green stitched in. Got 2 more big ones. No More is my next one, which is a pattern I bought off Etsy from Birdie's Crossing. And this is the pattern. My way of coping with what's going on in my country right now. This is done on a linen. What linen? This is done on X-Jude Marbled Bunny, 32 count linen. And I'm doing the threads all one color in Coal by Weeks Dye Works, which I wish I had just done in black. But anyway, I'm here. I love these Quaker style patterns because when you get done with a medallion, you feel like you've finished something. But then it's easy to put down and not pick back up for a while. I love this. It's in my Ruth Bader Ginsburg project bag made by Lynn X Stitches Creates on Instagram and email and YouTube. Lynn X Stitches Creates. So she did a great job on this pattern. And the inside of the bag looks like this. It's got Ruth's collar on it. So I just have to remember to keep the paper away from the vinyl because it sticks. And my last big one is, everybody knows, my Welsh sampler, which is like a 30-page pattern on, this is the pattern. This is how thick the pattern is. The pattern is done by Selenmar X Stitch. It was a 23 pattern. I got it off of Etsy. Here's the one I'm doing. They show it in white and black too on the pictures. I'm doing mine on an antique white. This is a lot of stitching. I'm doing mine on a 28 count Lugana in Brittany Antique White. I started this on June 19th last year, 2025. I've done a lot. The pattern all the way around was that much. And I am starting on the inside finally. And if I go back, that's how big it is. It's like a yard. Yard square, about 36 inches. It's a biggie. But I don't know when I'll get this one done. I don't even have a page done yet. I've got the borders on all the pages done. So the equivalent, I've probably got a page or two done. But to do all that inside border, like I said, I've got all the outside border done. Now I'm starting on these florals. So I've got part of one floral done. So I've got all the letters and all this to do. But it'll be a piece when it's done. I won't get this done this year. But here's the thing. That's why I want to keep my whips down to around 20. Because when I picked this up the last time, I worked on it like maybe 10 or 15 hours. Got the rest of the border finished, got those flowers started. And so when I get in the mood to work on this baby, I come a long way. So that's my my whips, you know. I don't want to go over this page by the end of the year. So don't have more than, it depends, but and then on the Christmas, I've got a separate Christmas whip page. And I want to keep those. I've got 6 going right now. I want to keep those down to 5. Oh, Harry's Stocking was my other whip. I didn't bring that one out. This is a shepherd's bush. This is my last whip. And I just realized I had this. I didn't realize I'd started on it. But here's Harry's Stocking. I don't know if you can see that. And I started this, and I didn't realize that I pretty much had Harry close to being done. So there's not that much left on this. So I am definitely going to get him done this year. And I will make this for one of my nephews, one of my grandnephews, or I might make it for my husband because we don't have stockings. We do, but we've only got purchased ones, and I've never made a stocking for myself, and I've never made a stocking for him. And I have made all my nieces and nephews stockings. I've never made them for their spouses. Mainly, I think, because I worked as a paralegal in the family law business for 40 years and I saw how many marriages got dissolved. So I never made those stockings for the spouses, even though I know probably 3 of them for sure. Three of my 7 aren't married yet. 2 of my 7 aren't married yet. But one's already divorced, so I'm glad I didn't make her one. And now they're starting to have kids, and I would like to make all their kids one eventually. It's a big ask. So I could do it if I put my mind to it, my needle to it, but we'll see. So anyway, I am so glad. Oh, I was going to show you. Everybody's been talking about January blessing sampler. So I don't I didn't want to start a new project in January because I had so many going and I had so many that were so close to a finish that I wanted to get them finished. So I didn't do that. But I do have a project started that I do want to do. So I'm considering this is going to be my January start, and I am going to start this before the end of January. So in the next week, I will start this. But I bought this off eBay, and it is a king size bed quilt. I don't know if you can see that. There. And I just got the thread for it yesterday in the mail. And I don't know if I'm going to do a round to make the sides. I think I am just going to do the top and make it into like a throw and make that my sampler. Although it doesn't have an ABC on it. So just really, really liked them. I've been looking at this on, and it's stamped. You can see the fabric. It is stamped cross stitch. My mom used to do these quilts all the time, and I don't have any of them. They got dispersed to my brothers because I didn't have a bed that would fit. The ones she made were for full-size beds, and they had full-size beds in their house, and I didn't, so I didn't take one when she died. But so they got dispersed by members of the family. Sorry, my nose is running a little bit. But I saw that one on eBay, and it was king size, and I'm like, well, I could do a king size one. So I still may do the king size one and make it for my own bed. But I may just do the top of it. I'll see how I get into it. I bought sharper needles that had a sharp end so I could go through the fabric. And I don't think I could quilt it myself. I would have to hire out to somebody that has a long arm to do it because I'm not quilting that baby by hand, the king size. just couldn't do it. So anyhow, I've quilted little things like table runners and things, but I've never attempted something like a king size quilt. So I don't know yet. But I am going to start with the top because that's the fun part with the house and the deer and all the trees and the birds and all that. So I'm going to do that. That's my next start. And my second to next start, which I will go ahead and show you, is called uh, Blue Jeans and Daisies. And I don't have a full picture of the art. So it comes in 3 patterns. So there's one. That's the one side. Oh, there it is with the second one added on. Oh, it does on the third one, it does give the entire design. This is done on blue jean colored fabric. I'm a blue jean girl. I wear blue jeans everywhere almost, and have since I was a teenager when my mom let me start wearing jeans. We didn't wear them as a little girl. But I've got all the fabric and I've got all the threads, and I saw this finished at Keepsakes, and I fell in love. The colors are bright and colorful and just very springy and summery looking, and I thought this would be a great spring start. So my goal is to start the quilt top, and then in the next month or so, if I can get something else finished, um, I'm gonna start this one. So that's my plans. My whip parade, this is a long video. I'm sorry it's so long, an hour. I like to keep them for under an hour, but that's kind of how it goes. And thanks for joining me. I hope you like and share this video if you'd like to, or if you have anything to comment on, please do. Something I could do different. I appreciate you joining me and hope you guys stay warm and snow free in this bad weather that's coming. Thanks a lot. Bye.